All right. The name is Delman, aka Four Eyes, the Ugly Professor, doing the review for the new Snoop Doggy Dogg album, Missionary. This review is done on behalf of Old Heads Network. All right, this Missionary album is like the sequel or part two to his debut first album, Doggy Style, which dropped in 1993. Doggy Style is a classic. Not only do I think it's a classic personally, I think across the board, all hip hop heads consider that album a classic. That's one of the few albums that I don't think I ever heard anybody say wasn't a classic. It would be very few folks that say that's not a bona fide classic album. And that's hard to do because everything is so subjective. And you always got people who say, nah to this and nah to that. But that's one of those albums that's like cemented. There's no disputing it. And Snoop has like 20 solo studio albums. I've only heard like half of them, to be honest with you. Maybe a little less than half. Like, of course, I bought Doggy Style on cassette back in the day. I even bought his second album, The Dog Father, that dropped in 1996 on cassette, which was a very big disappointment. Very few people like that joint. I don't like that joint. Had a few songs. Then he went after that Death Row thing, exploded and blew up in the wrong fashion. He went on to go with No Limit. And I've only heard one of the albums he did on No Limit. I think that was No Limit Top Dog that dropped in 1999. That was just okay. He had a few joints on there. I have the Cost to Be the Boss joint that dropped in 2002. That was just okay. Now the Blue Carpet Treatment, that was pretty good. That dropped in like 2006. That's one of his better albums. And then I have the Kool-Aid joint that dropped in 2016. That was just okay. Had a few joints. So those are all the Snoop joints that I've had and heard. Like I said, that's not even half his catalog, I don't think. But out of those, really only the notable ones to speak of is Doggy Style and probably Blue Carpet Treatment. They the only two albums I really think that you can speak of highly out of the ones that I've named. I think the rest of them was just okay. So I'm going to get into some of the standout songs on this Missionary joint. You got songs like Out of the Blue, which was the first song I heard, and I was thoroughly impressed when I first heard that joint. I was like, oh, this is better than I expected. I think they have a video and a short film for that joint. And it's featuring Dr. Dre. It's produced by Dr. Dre and them joints, etc. It's like Dr. Dre and his team. Like Dre is producing the whole album, but he has like a team of folks that's working with him on each song. Folks like Focus, he's helping doing some of the production with Dr. Dre. Sam Seed, Fred Rex, I think that's his name. He's been in the business for a long time, been producing for a long time. He helps out on the production on some of these joints. And you got them joints helping them out on some of these joints. So the Out of the Blue, you got Dr. Dre and Snoop going back and forth, which I love. I like how they're going back and forth with the rhyming. I like the beat switch ups. Like when Dre comes in and then when Snoop comes in, they have their own sequence of beat that they rhyme over. I like using the Schoolie D Saturday Night drums. I really dig this song. And then you got another joint called Hard Knocks. The beat switches up again, which I love. You got another song called Pressure featuring Dr. Dre. And you have like joints like Skyscrapers featuring Method Man. Method Man kills it as usual. He always does his thing when he's featured. He's like the feature king right now. And then you got joints like What other joints you got on here that's real tight? Fire, which is fire. It has like a dance hall vibe to it. I dig that joint. And then you got Sticky Situation. That's a pretty good joint. Now or Never, featuring Dr. Dre and BJ, the Chicago Kid, who's a singer. That joint is nice. You got Gangsta Pose. That joint is tight. And then you got The Negotiator, which ends the album. That's a really good song. I really like that joint. The last 4 songs of the album are very strong. The album ends very well. And I feel like that some of the joints to me were just okay. Like, I think the name of the song is Gorgeous. That has that chick that's in a relationship with Big Sean, I believe. It's okay. It's not a song that I'm going to listen to, but I thought it was just okay. But I understand it. I get it why he will make a song like that. Because being though Snoop is so famous and such an ultra superstar, he has to make song that appeals to the masses. He can't just do the street gangster shit or the hippity hop shit, West Coast style. He got to give them something he got to give the folks something that everybody can grasp onto, and that's one of them joints. So even though I don't care for it, I understand it and I respect it. And you got joints like The Last Dance with Mary Jane. I think he used a Tom Petty sample singing on the joint. He got, I think, Jelly Roll on the joint. I really didn't care for that joint, but like I said, that's understandable, even though I don't really care for the song. And you got another song called Thank You, where they do the Sly and the Family Stone joint. Thank you for letting me be myself. That joint is okay. It's okay. It's growing on me. The more times I listen to the joint. At first I was like, but now that I have listened to it several times, it's growing on me, that song. And then you got another joint like Guns and Smoke, which features 50 Cent, Eminem. It's solid. I thought Eminem verse was just okay. I really was kind of disappointed with Eminem's verse. 50 Cent verse was just blah. I thought Snoop skated on both of them on that joint. And I have to say, Snoop rhyme performance and mic performance is very steady throughout the whole album. Even on joints that I'm just mid on, like the mid-level songs, I still dig the way Snoop is rapping on them joints. He's really focused and really in pocket on this joint. He's impressive with his rhyming skills on this joint, I have to say. And another thing I was kind of like wondering, just a side note, October London is not featured on any of these songs, but BJ, the Chicago Kid, is singing on like 2 tracks. I thought that was odd, and I was wondering why, because October London is on Death Row, and that's Snoop's label now, and Snoop is always pushing him, so I was kind of like curious of why he's not on this joint, but BJ, the Chicago Kid, is singing on it. But that's just something I was just curious and wondering about. That's something real nitpicking to be even thinking of. And the production is real good. I got to give it to Dr. Dre and his team. The production is nice. He bounced back from that disappointing album he did for Marshall Ambrosia. I did not like Casablanca. I ain't gonna say I ain't like it. I was very disappointed. I thought it was just okay. But as far as this missionary album goes, I would give it a B, a strong B. Better than I thought it was going to be. And that's it. I'm done. Oh, got to do a shameless plug. Me and my guy Ali, we have an album together, Ali and the Ugly Professor. The name of the album is called Chemical Compositions. It's only on Bandcamp for now. It's intelligent, hardcore, ugly face music. Ali's on the mic for the most part and on production. I'm on production and I rap every now and then. So there you have it. Like and subscribe to the channel.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.